Is it time? I can't wait to see it.
Voice of the people, stories that matter.
Oh wow!
Truth in every moment, now and forever. Across every border, across every land, we form, we empower, together we stand. From Africa to the world, connecting every voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers all around Nigeria and in diaspora, it is time for Jolly Life. That one place where we bring you the gist, gist full ground. Like, we get to talk, share thoughts, we get to interact, and we get to, scrutinize a lot of problems that we have today in Nigeria. It could be relationship problems, it could be, entertainment problems, celebrity problems, personal problems. It could even be some good things you get, but we just want to gist about it. Jolly Life is that place here on CEMTV. I am Emmanuel Terminal Tenary, but you can call me Tammy for short. And of course, I'm not alone in the studio. It takes more than one person to gist, as the saying would go. It takes two to tango. And of course, I'm here with the weather oracle, Vera Philip. How you doing now?
Good afternoon, Tammy. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm confused because now you're shining more now than you were in the morning.
Really? Am I?
Kind of reverse.
Hey!
Reverse shining.
Hey! That's a good thing, because obviously I'm here since morning, so it's just very normal and natural for me to be looking not so good in the afternoon. But you see, I can never be caught on fresh is on another level when it comes to. So you see me in the morning, you're gonna see me again in the afternoon looking also fine.
You will not be looking fresher than you did early in the morning.
As it should actually.
Like this one, some people go look say now Banjo be this.
No, I went intact. The way you saw me before, you see me better. Not Ogbanji.
It's not Ogbanji.
Oh, tell me how are you doing today?
Well, I am doing good, and the conversation we're going to have today, or more, a long die. Yeah, whether you are of the male or female gender, you've most likely either heard or seen or personally experienced something similar to what who we're going to talk about today has experienced. Now, I know I've escorted a lot of people to either the market or to other places or to their homes at night, and one thing that is a common occurrence is being catcalled. Having a lady being catcalled, it's so, in Nigeria, it's not something anyone would tell me I've not seen it happen, or as a lady I've not experienced it, and I'll believe you. It doesn't. I don't see it. And in most cases, it's usually the older men that tend to do things like that. You barely see, a man of 20, 25, 26, 29, 30, is the ones that are about to clock 40, the ones pushing 40. And now in the video that I'm about to show you, a lady was making severe complaints. Like, she was expressing her thoughts and she was not mincing words. So here's what that lady had to say concerning this situation I've just given you a glimpse about.
As a woman or any man who don't reach 40 and above, don't marry them. They be red flag, about red band, they they are suffering with bad character. 40 and above, don't marry them all. Hunter with a spiritual wife for Nina, where bad character, Angelo, Wusaga, they are very poor. Agaya, no, they're single. Be single. Don't even date men in their 40s. Talk less of marrying them because you will regret it. You will know the reason why you meet them at 40s.
So it is quite funny to me because the way she was addressing them, and even while she was making that video, the men in the background, they were, what's the word? They were merciless. That's the word I'll go with. They were, proving her right. And her reaction was more or less, you guys will not get married. And you can see the men there, laughing in the background. And I had to ensure that the words she said were censored. But she was, calling them names. She actually resorted to insults when she turned around. And it had me think. I'm really glad I have a woman here in the studio with me. So I would want to ask you, is what she just experienced, is it something you would say a lot of Nigerian women can relate to? Because from my own limited understanding, I'm saying, I've escorted girls places, and I've seen it happen. But I can't say for sure if it's something that every girl, because it doesn't happen every time, so I can't really say for sure it's something that a lot of women in Nigeria, would experience more often than not. So as a lady, I would want to ask you, do you think it's something that women experience very often?
Yes, as a woman, yes, it's something that we experience very often, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I'm going to first go back to when I was watching that video. I was just laughing. I was laughing. Her mannerism got me laughing a lot because she's not even like saying it small. She's shouting and making it over. It's like, you people, you avoid men in their 40s. And a part of me just wants to say that men will also always say avoid women in their 30s, because why are they not married in their 30s and all of that. So a part of me just wants to agree with her that yes, so since people say women in their 30s are demonic, maybe men in their 40s too are as well demonic, but no, it's not a gender war. So I'm going to just cool it off with that. However, her concerns are very valid.
Okay.
Because I think we had that conversation earlier today, and I said, even me as a person, when you are 40 and above and you're married, it begs a big question for me, because with women might not really have a choice. What I mean have a choice is in the sense that you're basically just waiting for the right person to come along.
Okay.
For the men, you're going out there to chase the right person. I mean, the Bible says a man will leave his house and go and be one with another person. So it is your job to chase the woman. So it's when you chase her. So you want to say that in your years of chasing, you did not see the right one. You did not divorce. You did not. Nothing happened. You just
so that you bringing up that conversation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that, aren't you then indirectly placing a time limit as to where? Because now you're saying that, why should it take you this long to find the right person?
There's a thought in there. I'm not saying that's the direct thing. A part of me will wonder, what happened? That you are almost 40 or you're 40 and above and you're not married. Let's not forget that when we talk about marriage, we're also not really talking about just, two people coming together. We're talking about kids. We're talking about at what age you want to be a father to a child. You want to be 60 and your child is in primary 1. That stuff like that. And I can understand that there are times, there are situations that can make a man 40 and above and not married. That is not, a doubt at all or arguable at all. There are facts like that. But that thought process, that question will be birthed, trust me. There's going to be like, okay, what's happening? Like, why are you 40 and not married? As a lot of men also like to take the time to make money, because they do believe that with money they can get whatever woman it is that they want. So they tend to hustle for so long, bustle till they are 40, and then they now decide to settle at 40. Now there are one of two things that can happen at that time. You can either not change the person that you are or the person that you have been, or you can actually change and become very prideful. You now believe that, oh, I can get any woman I want, so I don't need to respect them, I don't need to treat them well, they don't need to have a voice, they don't need to have a say. And this is something a lot of women have experienced from men. So that question is definitely expected. I do not think that, I'm not saying that generally we should just not marry 40 plus men, but I'm saying that there's definitely going to be room for questions, and those questions must be met with good answers, because you can't be 40 and there's nothing at all. You're supposed to have been married at 40 as a man, and this is not even to put any pressure on you, okay? Married in the sense that you have probably paid small something on top of a woman's head at least, you understand? But if you haven't done that, there must be a concrete reason. There must be something outside character flaw, your character flaw, that has made it impossible for you to be settled at that time.
You see, for me, if you ask me, and I believe a whole lot of other people, they'll tell you that you putting an ultimatum on marriage, is, what's the word? It's, let me use the word complicating, because the examples some people would give, they'll tell you that, look, when did Abraham have his child? Abraham had his child at the age of 100.
Not in the days of Abraham.
No, now they say as it was in the days of Abraham, so shall it be in the latter days. Why I'm saying that is because it goes. There are two sides of this coin.
Yeah, most definitely.
It goes both ways.
Yes.
So, and one would argue that if you are placing, that question that needs to be answered, if at the age of 40 as a man you're not married, then a woman at the age of 30, 35, you should be questioned that if you're not married, there is something wrong.
So why can't we put it at 40 as well? Why do we have to put it at 30?
Because the thing is, if you're looking at that, if we're going based off of societal norms, it is expected. And
I'm not even going based on society.
No, that's what I'm saying, because what she has done is give not only a personal take, but she has also given a societal take, because she is now telling society, do not marry people at the, if it was her saying, okay, in my personal opinion, I don't think I'll marry men at the age of 40, she's trying to influence society with her opinion. Okay,
so I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to bring in a personal opinion, or my personal opinion. I believe that men and women should be given the 40 years yardstick. Okay. Not women should be given 30 and 35. You know why? Because they are both born at the same time. Women don't have any additional age to their 30.
But then, you know that, even biologically speaking, the male and female body function completely differently.
Exactly my point. Like a woman.
So why should they now be placed on the same pedestal? If you're saying, okay, because if we're going biologically,
the fact that a woman body biologically, gives her some sort of restrictions at 40, it does not mean that they are not experiencing the same things in life in those 40 years of their existence. Because I am a woman does not mean that I'm also not looking for an active partner at 29, at 30, at 31, or whatever age that I am. The only difference is that I have a biological clock, but you don't have a biological clock. However, we are all experiencing the same thing in this life. There's no favor on me because I'm a woman. If I'm being honest, it is even harder on me as a woman, because traditionally I cannot go and chase a man. A man has to come and chase me, and while a man is chasing me, I also have to prioritize myself, and in some cases prioritize the rest of the world as well. So I have limited chances, as a matter of fact, compared to a man who has the ability to do more than one thing, who has been blessed. Let me use the word blessed. Who has been blessed by God to be able to execute more than one thing at a time. So he has more of an advantage. That's why when I say women should not be given the 30 years, yardstick, I'm saying that realistically, because I'm a woman with experience as well. So women should be given the 40 years yardstick as well, so that we can. It's the same thing we're all experiencing. When a man is 40 and a woman is not married, hey, you can't be like, okay, what happened? Why you not married at 40? I know the funny thing. Actually, men and women, bad attitude, no bad attitude, character flaw, no character flaw. People still marry you.
For me, the reason why I think giving them the same yardstick, it's not necessarily fair, is because what is expected of a man in marriage is not what is expected of a woman in marriage. If you are, like you said, if as a woman, it is the man that needs to chase you, and after chasing you, it is the man that would ensure that all the rights are done. It's the man that will ensure that anything that needs to be done to ensure that you are kept will be done. It's the man that is expected to have a stable income, to have a stable household, to have basically his life. He is not only expected to get married, he's expected to already have, not build, Because now, when you're getting, I don't think there's anyone that will advise you marry a building man. They'll tell you marry a man that is built.
That's another wrong societal form, because I don't think anybody should advise you to actually marry someone that is built.
But then, like you said, we're being realistic.
Yeah,
as of right now, there is nowhere you would go to that no parent, forget what everybody say, there is no parent
that's
will tell you
an impression that doesn't actually fit. It's not one cut fit it all.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that based off of general statistic, even if you go online now and there's this r/couples, when r/Nigerian couples, in that subreddit, they drop statistics, and it's not just statistics based off of the wind. They drop polls, and there are about a couple of thousand people in that subreddit, and they do surveys where they ask questions and they allow people to share their thoughts. They allow people to share their experiences. So they say there's this one they put at one point in time that they asked, should you marry a made man? If yes, why? If not, explain your reasons. And yes surpassed no by 50%.
So what people want is not the same as what people need or what people end up being with. For example,
no, I'm not necessarily talking about, because you can't predict what you can't predict wants, because wants change rapidly. You can't predict wants, and you can't predict what they end up with. Also, the only thing you can base off of is what is already there, which is the societal expectation.
Yeah, there's also the personal definition of made for everyone. So
now that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to go into each person, because if we go into each person's different take, you can't even speak for each person's take. You just speak for what you think is made. Some people will tell you that in order for a man to be made, they will tell you he needs to have a 2-bedroom flat, he needs to have a functioning car, or even a functioning car. He needs to, and that 2-bedroom flat is not rent. He built it. It's his own. He needs to have a functioning car. He needs to be paid a certain amount of money per annum. That has to be his annual income, and for them that's made. Some people, they will tell you that what they want is a God-fearing man who is mentally stable, who can at least provide the minimum for the family, and that's made. That's why I don't want to go into what each individual person may consider as made. I'm going based off of what society, and of course by knowing what society wants, one of the best places to go is on social media platforms that allow surveys, because the best way to get what society thinks is in a survey. That's why they put surveys out there, because when the majority comes back, you have no choice but to accept that is what society wants, because guess what, the majority carries the vote. So in the majority, what was seen as the expectation is to marry a made man. And guess what, you expecting someone that leaves puberty at 18, this is a someone that just became a man, probably still in school, and you're expecting the average age where a man is expected to have left school is between 18 to 22 or 22 or 25, depending on what you're studying. So at 25 is when you are officially starting life. So you're saying that within 20 years a man should have built his own house, had a car, must have been, and even when you not consider the current Nigerian economy. So it's like, with all of these things in place, these are the expectations that are put on men. As a woman, they don't expect you to say, oh, as you're coming in, come with annual income, come with your own car, make sure your parents have a house or land in your name.
The other part where you did mention that there are some women who made to them is basically a God-fearing man, a man who has
but that's not the majority, unfortunately.
But there are people like that.
Yes, they are, but now we're dealing with the majority, because of course, like they will tell you the majority, there is nowhere you go that they will not tell you. Even if in our organization now they say, should we take off the Wi-Fi, and some people, the very few, tell you no, we need it, and the majority say no, take it off. The few people have no say, because the majority have decided. So because that few exist doesn't mean it overcomes or surpasses what the majority are saying. So if the majority are saying this, we have to base off of, well, now because if they are the majority, doesn't mean that is all that exists. We know that little segment exists. But the fact is, this majority is what outclasses this, and if this majority is what is, reigning, then that majority is society. So if this society has this expectation, and you expect this person within Nigeria that is currently the way it is to get worse and worse, and you expect him in 20 years to build up to the point where he's earning millions annually, and even when somebody gets to that point, how much time do you expect them to have with you? Because it took them, do you know how often they needed to work every day, every hour, in order to establish what they have? And that it's not a machine that you can just, it's not like a generator that you turn on and you leave it and it's going. No, you always need to be there. You are always grinding. It's kind of like a grinder. You don't just, it's not a blender that you just turn it on and let it be, or since it has started. No, it's a grinder. Once you've got it going, you need to be there. If not, the likes of Dangote won't be asking for investment. He'll just stay somewhere abroad. Elon Musk, all these rich guys, they wouldn't need to be there. They wouldn't need to be present if that's how it works. But that's not how it works.
Okay, so I'm going to draw also from where she said avoid 40 plus men, which necessarily does not have to do with how they got to 40, but at the age of 40 why you should avoid them. Now you have also created an avenue, like you've said something that obviously shows the thought process of an average 40-year-old man who is single and not married. Do you also know that there is a point where you get to, as a 40-plus old man, that you have a character flaw because of how much struggle, or because of how much it is that you've had to make to that point? So when you get to that age, there's every possibility that you become arrogant, especially towards women. First of all, the reason you have worked all that hard, to the point that you are right now, is because of the same women. So when you see them,
I mean,
all you think that you can,
but I see where you're coming from.
All you think you can offer to them is that wealth you've built, that maid that you are now, is what it is that you can offer them. Because obviously, when you say a man, you must settle down with a man that is made, that is the first thought process. That is it. Like, I don't think there's anything else.
If I need to be made to get a woman, then that's all I should
focus on. You don't think that, I need to be able to be any other thing, emotionally present, I need to be, a physical torture, I need to do this. You don't think about any other thing. You just feel like, since I have money, this should be able to fetch me a girl. And that is all your mind wraps around, that because I have money, this is what I'm going to use to get a girl. That's a huge character flaw. And when women tell you, we want a made man, they are also underlying tones that are following that made man. There is emotional availability, there is love undertone it. There is a lot of other compositions underneath a made man. So if you now are a made man, and because you are made, you do not have the ability to be a man who is physically present for his wife or for a woman, how many women do you think will want to settle with you? How many want to settle with you? So another validation, which of course I'm setting as an example, not a fact, of why there's a reason. I mean, you should avoid 40 plus men, because at that point there's a character flaw, and that character flaw is built over time, and it becomes a problem for a woman. It becomes toxic. Even when that 40 plus man ends up getting married, it becomes a toxic cycle for even his own marriage.
Now, another question I would want to ask you, and I would want to give the answer, after we come back from this short break. It's that most these character traits that you are talking about, being rude, being, absent, just overall being prideful, because it's when you are proud that you will, talk down on somebody, you would speak condescendingly and all of that. So these traits, they, besides, your own personal discipline as an individual, they are traits that come as a human being with success. Once you start getting to a certain point in life, you will know your worth. That's the word. Even ladies, they will tell you that, look, there are certain guys I will not, I won't even entertain you if you try to approach me. Why? Because I know my worth. Would you then say that is rudeness? Because there are situations where you go to certain places and you try to approach a lady, you want to talk to her, but then she tells you that, no, the level of men I'm looking for, you are not
in that class.
You're not in that class of men I'm looking for. would you consider that rude if a man tells you, if a man then comes with the exact same approach but in the opposite way, that I'm a man that can afford any woman, I'm a man that, you know, I have what any woman would look at and say, yes, this man has crossed the first space of me considering this person for marriage. You know, so we're going to go on this short break, and when we come back, we're going to look at that, and after that, we round up. Remember, you're still on Jolly Live here on the CEMTV, and I still am Emmanuel Terminal Tenary. You can call me Tammy for short, and I'm duking it out with the weather oracle herself. Come on. You know, she defend this woman, eh?
No, I'm being realistic, you know. Yeah. I'm defending her. I do feel like she's extra, you know. But then I see reasons with her.
Well, she sees reasons with her. Yeah. And I believe when we come back from this short break, she will have much more reasons to give us as to why she sees her reasons and why she thinks she's extra. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Is it time? I can't wait to see it.
Voice of the people, stories that matter.
Oh wow!
Truth in every moment, now and forever. Across every border, across every land, we form, we empower, together we stand. From Africa to the world, connecting every voice.
Welcome back from that short break, and of course this still is Jolly Live here on CEMTV. I still am Emmanuel Terminal Tenary, but you can call me Tammy for short. And we're back, and like I mentioned before we went on that break, that the weather oracle Vera Philip, she has a lot to say, and I've asked her a question. The question I asked her, in case you were not tuned in and you're just tuning in, was if a lady can say she is not chasing a guy, or a guy approaches her and she tells him that you are not my spec, like I know my worth and you are not you're a man that if I allow your advances, I'm demeaning myself. Why is it then seen as rude when a man says, I'm a man of worth, I can get any woman I want, so why are you misbehaving? Because it's exactly the same thing as a woman saying, I know my worth, you're not a man I would want to deal with, and a man saying, I know my worth, you're not a woman that should be giving me this type of stress. So you said you had a lot to say concerning that.
Not a lot per se. So I want to say, yes, it's okay when I say, oh, this is what I want in a person. I'm looking at the first qualities I meet up with.
Okay.
You know, for example, on the first date, you already know if this person is worth your time. You already know if it's the kind of person you want to be with. And that also includes if you want a made man or a struggling man or whatever kind of man. So yes, a man who knows his worth and says, oh, I have the money, I'm made, I can have any woman I want to, can definitely put that at his front page and be like, you know what, I'm looking for so type of woman. And if I don't meet that woman, if I don't see that woman, I'm bouncing, I'm leaving to the next. That's very okay. There's a difference between knowing your worth and actually being an arrogant person. Where it transforms to arrogance is my problem exactly. Okay. Because
and then when does it transform? Because there's a thin line between that level of confidence and arrogance, because someone saying that as it is,
you have to disrespect people, put down other people's emotions or feelings because you feel like there is something you have that they don't have.
But then in that sense, isn't it subjective? Because if I have money and this person does not have money, and I'm telling this person you don't have money, it's a fact, but it will hurt their feelings.
No. Of course, I think who was saying that said, okay, Pastor Bolaji, I was listening to him. He said there is a truth, and there is delivery of the truth. Now, delivery of the truth can actually be how was that word? When you're delivering a truth, it can actually be turned into arrogance if you're not delivering the truth well.
Okay.
For example, I'm a man. I already know that, oh, this kind of person, I like her, maybe she's beautiful, but I'm looking for a girl who maybe makes up to like 400k, for example, as salary. And then I go on a date with this lady, and we are talking, and I realize that she doesn't make up to 400k. It's okay. You don't necessarily need to like put it in her face. Okay, you don't make up to the amount of money I want. Even though you want to do that, that's okay. Move on to the next.
Then in that situation, how would you then
when
deliver
you're actually in a relationship, or you've actually met the person that you think meets your standard, it is important that you move away from those standards that you're looking for, or those standards you think you have, which is of course making money, to building the relationship. And building the relationship is like cooking soup. It's not just oil. There is water, there is fish, there is okboko, there's a lot of things that come into building. When you are standing on the notion that, oh, I am a made man, I am a rich man, I don't need to do any other thing to bring anything to the table, that is arrogance. But then when you are ready,
go
when you are actually ready to put in the work, when you are actually ready to be emotionally available, emotionally intelligent, be a provider, be a loving husband, be a loving boyfriend, whatever, when you are ready to put all the ingredients in the soup, now arrogance has been thrown away from the window. As a matter of fact, what you have done is set a better standard for yourself and for the marriage that it is that you want to get into. But most of the 40+ men only have the belief, because when you spend all your time working so much for money, at the end of the day you glorify it. It takes a certain level of emotional intelligence for you to not glorify money. So when you begin to glorify money because that's all you've worked for, I can get any girl with this money I want, that is what happens at the end of the day. You become an arrogant person. Nobody can talk to you. No woman deserves this, because with my money I can get whatever it is that I want. And that is the 40+ men that this girl is actually, that I'm on this girl's back now when she says avoid 40+ men. Because those are the 40+ men. And I'm telling you from experience, I've met 40+ men. I'm not saying they're all entirely bad, but I tell you one thing, most of them have spent their lives building wealth to the point that they now feel that wealth should get them any woman or anything they want.
But then isn't that what society told them? Because I don't think there is any man
what society
out
tells
there.
them.
Come on now. Society
says work hard. Society says for you to be married or for you to be able to keep a home. And of course, society has its own definition. Of course, the society will tell you, oh, before you can be able to marry or before you can be able to do this, have a home. But let's not lie to ourselves. Outside societal values, outside what the society thinks, there is a reality. And that if you're not in touch with that reality and you're basing your entire life on what the society says or society says, you've already failed. Whether it's in marriage, whether it's in career, whatever it is that you're fixing on society, you have failed. Because there is a reality that society will not help you when it has gone bad. So the best thing is to be in touch with your reality. So if you're following society because society says you have to do this, you have already failed. That's the beginning of failure. But if by yourself you have a goal, okay, this is what I want my life to look like, this is why I want to be rich like this is why I want to be at this age, you are planning based off your own thought process, based off your own achievement, based off your own goals, without the influence of the society. Now you are making a right choice. You just need to build character in the process of it. And character is very important, because I best believe one of the reasons that people have a high rate of divorce is character flaw. Because they're not willing to change their character. Oh, this is how I am, I cannot change it. Two people are not willing to compromise with each other to be together. And that is a huge problem with 40+ men. And I'm not saying all 40+ men are like that. I'm just saying that 40+ men, most of them have the ability to just focus on work, that they forget that there are other things underneath life, or underneath, survival, underneath even marriage, that does not have anything to do with money. And so when they get to the point where they finally want to settle down, they don't bring any other thing to the table aside money. And if you're bringing only money to the table, forget what society has to tell you. You are poor. very poor, because you cannot bring only money to the table. I'm not even gonna pretend like I don't like money or that people do not like money, but it's a factor, one of a factor. It is not the main factor. It is not the concrete factor. It's like mixing a cement. You need water, you need sand, you need all of this, you need everything to come together to build a block. So if it is only water that you have to build a block, what are you going to make out of it? Nothing. But if you can have cement, the right amount of cement, the right amount of water, the right amount of sand, you have built a block. And best believe that block will stand the test of time. And that is what we should actually push to 40 plus men. Put your ego aside. You have worked so hard. Nobody's your mate. All of that. Calm down. Especially the ones that are always running after Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You will not go and do the one that's in your age grade. Be running after Gen Z and Gen Alpha. That's where you are messed up with, because those ones that have respect. Those ones will tell you as it is. Yeah. So let's be guided as we are moving forward in life, please.
I like the fact she said the people you're going after, they go show you perfect.
You're not saying anything. You're not saying nothing.
Well, Vera said that, you know, if you want to properly make cement, you need a whole lot of other things. But if you're only bringing water to the table, I'll tell you, look for somebody that will join you to drink the water. If you cannot mix the cement, find somebody that two of you will drink the water together.
The video I saw, you know, it was a sarcastic video, but then the man was saying, "Men, why people try to marry everything at once? You know, just marry a wealthy man. They'll find the love of your life somewhere. You know, you can't have all of it.
Yeah.
So keep one wealthy, the other one love of my life, the other one." That's a bad advice, by the way. But yeah,
it is. But all jokes aside, you know, what she's saying, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. And at the same time, you know, there are a lot of other men that will tell you that there are circumstances beyond their control as to why they're 40 and unmarried. Some of them will tell you that they've had several bad experiences and they've seen it, that look, it's not worth it getting married. Some of them will tell you that they've been married and it did not work out, and the problem was not really them. It was more or less their spouse. A lot of them will tell you that, look, even as kids, they've had problems with women. So they made the choice as to not get married. And some will tell you that they're just not for that settled down lifestyle. They just want to live their life as is. They don't want to be pinned down to any one person, and they just want to, you know, be able to focus on their job, focus on their career without any other thing or any other person, you know, needing half or 100% of the same attention they could use to grow themselves and their business per se. Well, that's the most we can take on Jolly Life today. Vera, any parting words for our single ladies and single men out there?
Yes, especially for the 40 plus men. Now, this entire conversation is not to justicize you. It's not to make you feel like, oh, because you're 40 plus, you don't deserve love, or because you're 40 plus, you are an automatic red flag. No, we are saying that there are so many things that can build you to be a 40 plus man and be single, but let it not be character flaw. Let it not be that you are conforming to societal values or whatever it is that the society says should be done. Let it be that you have your personal reasons, concrete reasons, very good reasons to why you're 40 plus and you're married. And it's okay to be 40 plus and unmarried. Don't just be an arrogant person. Don't just be a bad person. Don't be a person that people will get married to or people will want to be with and they'll regret their choices. While you are building your life up until your 40s, it's important that you build the person that you want to be in marriage as well. You build the person that you would love another person to be to you as well. Not because, oh, I've made money or anything like that, the world should stand still and be at my feet. No, let's try to develop character, because best believe that's what you're going to also have to deal with in marriage. So if you're a 40 plus man, don't think that this is against you. It is not. Just don't be a bad person at the end of the day. Thank you very much for listening and watching me. God bless you.
And of course, Vera has said it all. Bring character, bring good attitude, and most importantly, bring your best when it comes to being in a relationship. Well, we draw the curtains here. I am Emmanuel Tamanol Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. If you enjoyed today's session of Jolly Life, be sure to join us tomorrow, because of course we'll bring you another round of G's. Whether to make you happy, you'll find out. Whether to make you sad, we'll find out.
No, hopefully to make you happy.
I want it to make you sad. You will be sad. We'll bring G's and you will cry.
No,
you'll cry. No,
I'm not returning on that one, no. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be here again.
Tomorrow we'll be here again. Stay tuned to CEMTV. Don't go anywhere.